Way. All right, good stuff. So as we transfer in this morning, first of all, welcome to Friday. You guys have made it to the final day. And then for you new franchise owners that are joining me next week, well, we'll do more of this again next week. So you're not done yet. But it'll be fun. I love it when we start doing it in person. I'm going to try to give you some cheat codes for next week and see if that doesn't, I don't know, help things. We'll see. For everyone, happy Friday. You made it to the last day of Inspired Sale Class. As we start today, what I would like to transfer in with, on Monday, I asked you guys to put in the chat box, what was your confidence level on a scale of 1 to 10 of going into a home and running an appointment? Now, for some of you, maybe that's changed dramatically. For some of you, maybe it's changed only a little bit. Who knows? For some, it went down. I don't know. We'll see what happened. But I would like to find out from you on a scale of 1 to 10, what do you feel like, where would you rate your confidence? 1 being, I'm never going into a house ever again. 10 being, bring them on. I'm ready to land this thing. So scale of 1 to 10, how confident are you? And then I've got a couple of follow-up questions for you. What do you feel like you need in order to get that number where you want it? Okay, whatever that looks like. And then how do you think you can get that? So the first time or two is going to seem a little clunky. That's all right. We'll work through it. So Jenny Carter, I'm going to start with you. On a scale of 1 to 10, how confident are you? And we'll work it from there.
Gotcha. So I'm feeling like at 8.5. And in terms of what I need to get to a higher number, like a 9, 10, like to slam dunk it, is just experience. As I've been kind of partnering with Deb and even with other DAs, they just know because they've been in it now, in terms of kind of numbers to manipulate and move around. I definitely feel I'm comfortable with the tablet and my communication with the customer. It's just kind of how to work numbers now to better affect a close.
Okay. All right. So when you talk about more experience, you're not thinking specifically about the sales process as much as you are the measuring and estimating piece.
Yeah, probably. Yep. That's more, yeah.
Good. All right. Perfect. Mark, how about you? Scale of 1 to 10.
I'd say around a 7 or 8, I think.
Okay.
Up a couple points. I felt like it definitely is coming together for me after going through this week and feeling more confident on certain aspects of things. I think just more role plays and getting out and doing more of the consultations myself and kind of taking charge and getting feedback from my franchise owner has helped, and I think that'll continue to help.
Okay. Good. Eric Gibbs, and then we'll go to Eric Chen. Eric Gibbs to start.
I guess I'm a 6, but I came from a 1, so that's a good one. I think the 2 things that I'm most concerned about, one is estimation and using that and using the tablet. I know how to do it, on the exercises, but there's a lot of nuance there that I am not at all comfortable with. The second thing is learning the questions. And, I'm really good at ad lib. I'm not good at script. So learning those questions because they're damn important and knowing when to ask them.
Okay, cool. Let's see, Ryan Davis.
Well, I thought you were going to me.
Oh, sorry, Eric Chen and then Ryan.
Okay. So I guess I would say I'm about maybe a 7. Okay. I think there's my situation because of the time that I missed and my DA or my franchise owner being on vacation. I haven't gotten so much time in the actual houses as I would have liked. And this is something that I was expecting and he was expecting. I think what it really is I just need more on-hands practice inside houses with actual people instead of doing it over Zoom, in a controlled environment with prompts and things like that and actual practices. So that's really just the big thing. It's just more on hands training. And I will definitely get that within the next couple weeks or months,
Sure.
on my franchise owner schedule.
And I would encourage you, either you go to where he is or make him come to Allentown or whatever it takes for you guys to get in the van together.
Oh, yeah, yeah, absolutely. I've been running up to his place for appointments, an hour to 2 hours. It's just really our schedules haven't been lining up, and that was something that was made aware when I was first hired. So
Sure.
this is something that we were just expecting during the June, July months.
Okay, perfect. Ryan. Where'd Ryan go? He was there.
I had a phone call coming in.
There you are.
Yeah, I'd say with the experience of mine, there's no big deal, a bunch of learning, but I like the industry and being in people's houses, confidence levels, which I like. I'd say I'm an 8.5 or 9, that type. But as it goes through, some of these steps are definitely a little hard to kind of get the lingo down as of simple things as your conversation. So it changed my tactics this week as I ran 6 or 7 appointments already this week, but it did change my perspective and kind of start from a new age as this is training. So, but yeah, it's very fun to learn.
Nice. Nikki.
I'm still at about a 5.
Okay. So what do you feel like you need to be able to boost that number up?
More practice on the complete sales process and remembering the scripts and being natural at those questions and include and not getting stumped. Yesterday on our call with Jackie, she stumped Robin and me both just because she was insistent that she only wanted this Home Depot product. And I completely forgot to ask the right questions on. So that, and then I still need a lot more work on doing estimates.
Okay. All right.
And just putting it all together.
Good. Jonathan.
So I was at a 5 earlier in the week, and I think I'm probably up at around a 7 now, a bit more confident with the entire sales process. I need to work on my transitions and ad-libbing a little better. And more familiarity with the specific products and inventory that we have in the mobile showroom.
Okay.
I think that running the simulated appointments next week is going to be really helpful. So.
And you were, if I remember right, you were a litigator, weren't you?
Yeah.
So you spent plenty of time in the courtroom trying to convince juries of your point of view and whatever else.
I did, but not usually about carpet and hardwood. So
this is the same thing. This is exactly the same thing. I would argue this is probably easier, but I like it. Good. Sandra.
Can you hear me?
We do.
Okay, great. I started the week thinking I was at a 6, and I am going to downgrade myself. I think I really was under a 5, and now I feel like I'm at a 5.
Okay.
I feel like I've got a long way to go. Just with everything from product knowledge, making sure I have the right pricing in the tablet for non-product. In other words, not carpet, laminate, just the accessory part. And then the whole sales process from the company story to just feeling comfortable with just, real live customers and some of their objections and how to navigate through that.
Good. Okay. Let's see. Jen Hine.
As my cursor wasn't over the mute button. I feel like I started out as a 5. I don't think that's increased a whole lot because I like Eric Gibbs. It's this coming from a design perspective, I'm used to kind of winging it, maybe a little bit more ad lib. So trying to translate that into a specific sales system that's been one of my bigger challenges. And also like this quest for really wanting to understand what's in the mobile showroom. I feel like that gives me confidence knowing the product. So yeah, so I've got the Shaw rep coming in next week, and it's like, so I've been hitting heavy trying to get them all. It's like, all right, I need I need those little symposiums to get, better familiar. But
Nice.
but I feel like I'm comfortable in the home. So I guess that's half the battle. So
Okay. And I would I would argue if you went back and looked at what you used to do in the home, right? You had a process.
Yeah.
It wasn't necessarily written down, but you had a way that you did things. And this is just a different way to do it.
yeah. Yeah, it's translating that all in. It's just like
Yeah.
going, but even though my franchise owner keeps saying, he's like, you're fine. And I guess, because Arlen knows it's just like going, I've already had to go out into the home by myself. It's just like going but I called it kind of a mini appointment, but but I know it'll come, like everybody's saying, it'll come better with time and practice and just getting in there and, practice.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Good. Patrick.
Yeah, I would say the same thing. I would say I'm about like a 7, but I think it's just through experience, finding the little nuances, like trying to have it basically my mind calm down from thinking of all the different facets of the process and the details of listening to the customer, while not also like overthinking it and still being like organic and just genuine too, so. I just like anyone else, just like Jen, and a lot of other folks say, I think it's just through experience that number will definitely go up.
Good. Jeremy.
Similar, trying to make sure that we feel fluid and organic going through the process. I felt really comfortable sitting down and talking with people and getting the information, but where my mind goes of trying to hit the certain steps is what's kind of throwing me off. So, but when I step back at it and I just kind of try to make it more natural, I do much better. I think at the closing, the end of the sale, but I believe that's what we'll be going through today. And then we'll touch on this a lot more next week. One of my, I guess, the concerns that I have is understanding the products in the mobile showroom, making sure I've got the products in there that match what's in the tablet, and confirming that the prices have come through, and I can actually be in the homeowner's home, have a sample, and then be able to switch it, and it shows up. I haven't gone through every sample yet, so that's something I'll probably have to do on my own. But the product knowledge is a big aspect where I feel like I need some more work.
Sure. Okay. Roger and Alondra.
So I was a 3 at the beginning, and I think that now I'm a 5 in English. But in Spanish, I think that number will be higher. What I need to do to improve is obviously memorize the questions, and it's not that I don't know the language. I mean English is more of I don't find the right words to say things sometimes, so it makes me, and I'm not even translated in my head, so it's more of getting more vocabulary to make things look more easy and fluent, and basically that will be to practice and start studying.
Nice. Okay. All right, Roger.
Well, I feel that my rate right now it would be like probably like a 4, but I feel like I have the confidence, so that's an important thing, and memorizing all the sales process, like understand, well, it's not understand, like to know how to use the InspireNet, and I mean like giving a good quotes. I could be like maybe a 7.
Okay. Okay. I'll take it. Let's see. Amy.
Sorry, couldn't find my mouse. It was hiding somewhere. I would say I'm probably a 7-ish. Words are a very natural part of my personality, and that's my one hangup that I got to get rid of. But I really liked Grant's suggestion for me last night, was to only say one thing. And despite what y'all think, that's really hard. But I would say 7-ish so. And so once I figure out how to not say so much. And with
All
that,
right. Good. Nate.
Hey, good morning, everyone. Probably maybe a 7 to 8. For me, it's really a couple of different things. One is the product knowledge side of it. And it kind of ties into two categories, obviously continuing to learn the product inside and out, but also having a good idea of what my go-tos are. Obviously I know we've got the list. Jen shared some great ideas on stuff, and but getting to where I kind of know some of those a little bit better in my head. And then I think the repetition too, the more I go through it, it'll allow me to really take that up to an 8 or a 9 pretty quickly as I get more practice in.
Okay. Dan.
Yeah, I would say I'm a 7 right now, which earlier in the week was about a 5. I would say each ride along that I go on, I'm feeling more and more confident. The last few days, I've been running the appointments all on my own. So that's been really nice to see the progress there and the confidence being built with each appointment that I do. In terms of where I need improvement, I would say the second half of the company story practice will help there. There's a handful of transition questions and really just running the second half of the appointment, like steps 4 and 5 all the way to close, is definitely an area that I'm looking to improve as well. And then product knowledge. When I go out to the van with my franchise owner, the first thing she asks me is, what's your pricing strategy here? And that's made me realize, wow, I really need to understand the product, know my price points, and that'll all come with reps. So yeah, definitely growing in confidence with each ride along.
Nice. Blake.
Yeah, there's really two questions that I'm thinking through. My confidence level going into a home and picking some product and pulling together some viable proposals and delivering that proposal. Like I can bullshit my way through most any situation. So that's a 9. But in reality, did I go through the process accurately? Did I pick the right products? Do I know the product well? Did I improve the odds of, the best odds possible of winning that sale in the home that day? I'd like to say 7, but I still feel like I'm probably a 6 at this point. All right, I just need some time to study, do some repetition, some practice, and gain that experience.
Good. Aaron.
Yeah, I honestly probably still, I'm like a 5 on the whole sales process, understanding the real product, and I have a lot of concerns about just making sure I have a good quote. But similar to Blake, I'm comfortable being in a customer's home. I've been in a lot of homes from our design business, and just talking to them about their project, it's just kind of comes naturally. But following this specific processes where I get hanged up, it's like all of a sudden I feel like I need to remember some specific thing to say, and I just need to probably worry less about that and let it flow. But I tend to think, oh no, what was that thing? And then that gets me all jumbled up.
Yep. So that comes with making this your own, right? Rosa.
Can you hear me? Can you hear me?
Yep.
Yeah, getting better and better by day. I would say I'm probably a 6.5, and I think I struggle with most is just I get into my head a lot about what things I should say, the process to picking out product, because I'm just on to the next. So while I'm looking at product, I'm thinking, okay, so I have to say this next, that this is how I should handle it. And so it's just a lot. But I will say there's this project that I've been working on for the last week with these clients, and I had a lack of confidence but I've been really working with them. And it's by far the most, it's at 1,000 and I sold it this morning. So it was a process, but I'm really proud of myself for it. So I'm super excited.
Nice. And you sold it this morning, right? Let's not skip over that part. We sold it this morning. That's a celebration. Come on. I sold it this morning. We got to repeat that. Good. Good. Jen Reichel.
Good morning. I don't remember where I was at the beginning of the week, but I feel like I'm maybe like a 6 now.
Okay.
I think that there's just so much information and I definitely don't have it memorized well enough to go through it consistently and make it my own. So just like everybody's saying, practice, 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 especially presenting price the day of on the spot, that I haven't really nailed yet at all. Almost all of my appointments, I end up circling back and sending them options after. So really going to try to hone in on that and present price right on the spot. And then really want to, like, you can hear an objection, but then remembering what to say to that objection, I'm not really confident there yet. So
Okay.
like, oh yeah, I know there's something I'm supposed to say, but so I just got to memorize that better too.
Good. Let's see, Jeff and Carrie.
Where are you?
Okay, well, for me, I've been plugging through on the courses. I've done the office manager things and everything. I find that a little tough to do because I think sometimes they don't quite follow or they're difficult to follow. And so I've gone back over and over, but I think I'm getting there. I think with some practice and with some, practical experience, it'll come. I just want to make sure that I do everything I'm supposed to do so that when Jeff goes out, he's worried about, that's his only focus, and, the other things are on me, so.
And I'm really excited next week. We're going to spend a good bit of time around production. We're going to spend a good bit of time. You in particular are going to separate off with other office managers and specifically walk through a lot of the office manager stuff. So I'm excited for you for that.
Me too.
Yeah, after yesterday, I feel like I should just go in a cave and hide. I felt good after Wednesday's session, but not so good after Thursday's session. Where I'm struggling is I've never enjoyed the solitary practice or the practice that is fake. I can't read the person well, or I can't actually work into what the real person is thinking, doing, wanting. And I think like Blake and Aaron, I look forward to getting into a real home where it'll be, I think, more natural. But last night really shook my confidence up. So looking forward to next week.
It is absolutely easier when you're in front of a customer. I will agree with that 100%. And part of the beauty of role playing and part of the beauty of working with a coach is that you should feel more uncomfortable with the coach than you do in front of a customer. Just like think about any sports practice you've ever done. If the coach can make it harder in practice than what it is during the game, then the game's going to feel really easy.
Yep.
So some of that's by design. Let's see, Robin.
All right, I'm here. I'm in my new office, guys. So excited. Woo!
Nice.
One thing down. All right, so confidence level, I think I said 7 when we started. I think I'm still around an 8. And I would literally copy what Blake said. I feel like I'm not scared to make mistakes and learn from those. So I'm really excited to really practice in real life scenarios. But I will agree that I see that I need a lot more repetition and a lot more practice to really not get thrown off too easily by a little curveball. But again, I mean, that's why we're going through this. So I'm excited.
Good, good. And let's see, have I got John?
JP or just regular
JP,
Joe?
JP.
Okay, I believe I'm around like a 7, you know, because I still have to understand a lot more of the product knowledge, some of the materials and things like that, you know, what to pull out during the product selection for the customer. And I have noticed that I do, when it comes to the tablet presentation, I get really nervous on making sure to present. I dwell on it a little bit, overthink it, I believe, and it causes me to stutter a lot, you know, throughout the entire process. So I think that would come naturally in the future with more practice dealing with the customers. And I mean, overall, it's just really practicing it throughout, so that way it'll come out fluently.
Good, good. Did I miss anyone? I don't think so, but I always like to check. Okay, I'm gonna transfer to the board for just a moment. We're not gonna spend a whole lot of time back here today. I want to make this seem very linear. Let's see, let's add that page. All right. So if it's okay with you, I'm going to move quickly. But please stop me as you need to stop me. So we get an appointment set on our calendar, we make a setup call. We get to the house, step 1, warm up. We transition to step 2. And in that transition, we've got those transition questions to help us understand what the customer's objection is, right? So very simple. I come to the house, I warm up the customer. Step 2, we inspect the space. We have a little tactic here called the reference list. Okay, that's great. I list it as just a tactic. Step 3, we're going to measure the space. We're going to create our options. And as a tactic, we can do our inspection video. Okay. So at step 3, I have on the tablet option 1, option 2, option 3, maybe more, probably not less, but I have at least strategized. This is how I can come up with 3 options for this customer. Go out to the van and pull product. Step 4. Well, I tell you what, some days I can write and some days I can't. Step 4 is our company story. Step 5 is the installation video, right? And then step 6, this is when we're going to actually pick the product. So when I'm picking the product the first time through, I'm focused on option 1. The customer says, oh, that's the one I absolutely love. I got to have it. Okay. Step 7. This is a pre-close. And this is where I'm asking the customer, other than price or payment, would there be any reason that we couldn't get your job started today? And then giving them a commitment statement. And at the same time that I'm doing that, in parallel to that, I'm now changing out the PG for the actual product. Okay, and I'm just going to make that really, really quick. Step 8. Here's my close. And again, I'm still focused on option 1. So at what point do I bring in option 2?
If you're not able to get them to agree on anything for option 1.
Sure. So in the close, I'm going to go through the full walk of life. I'm going to hit them with everything I got, and hopefully we're going to land the sale on option 1. But if we don't land the sale on option 1, if we get to that last question in the walk of life, so how long do you think it would take for you to come up with the rest of the money? And they say, you know what, it's not about the rest of the money. It's not about the how much time. I just don't feel like I'm ever going to spend $20,000 on this house. Okay. I promised you I was going to come up with some other options. Let's take a look at another option. And now I move from here. I go back and I pick up option 2. We figure out what this product is. I can change the PGs for the actual product again. And now I can get into option 2 in the close. So what do you think? What is the percentage of time that you're going to sell option 1 versus option 2 versus option 3? What do you think?
Same.
60, 20, 10.
Nate said 60, 20, 10. What do y'all think?
I think option 2 is
50%.
going to be the highest sell.
I think option 1 has the higher because that's the one they're like, oh my God, I'm in love with it, as long as it's not $25,000. So I would go what Nate said.
Okay.
And let me just share, my Kentucky math was way off. I'm originally from Kentucky. 60, 20, 10 is not 100%. So I want to go ahead and clear that up for everybody. I apologize.
Well, you don't sell 100% of the job, so you know. 60
Yeah. Let's see. Hey, thanks for having my back.
Look at that.
That does put you at a 90% close rate, Nate.
That's perfect. So in the beginning, of the jobs that you close, so whatever your close rate is, of the jobs that you close in the beginning, you're probably going to close about 10% of the time on option 1. You'll probably end up closing about 70% of the time on option 2, and the balance on option 3 for the jobs that you close.
Eric for the win.
Now, why do you think that it skewed that way?
Gonna go back with option 1 is too expensive.
Sure. Okay. And as new salespeople, what are you going to do?
Shoot for the moon. Here's the gold plated.
Yep. So you're going to shoot for like, oh my gosh, I've got the perfect PG5. I'm at hardwood. I mean, this stuff is absolutely fantastic. It's gold plated. It was sent to the moon and back. I mean, it's got moon dust in it. I mean, this is the best stuff out there. And then when the customer says, there's no way I'm spending $25,000, you're going to fold like a lawn chair. Oh my God. Okay. Well, let's take a look at another option. Okay. Hopefully you do that instead of just running out the door. All right. As you get better at this, when you look at people that have been doing this for a couple of years and they're really good at what they do, you'll see that it shifts to more like a 70, maybe even 80% option 1, 20% option 2, and maybe only 10% or less on option 3. But you kind of have to get there, right? So Roger and Alondra, when you guys were in Orlando and we did the session together, you saw some really, really crazy numbers from estimates that were made, right?
Correct.
Okay. And a lot of those crazy numbers were from people that really hadn't been doing it very long. Well, no wonder they're not selling option 1, right? So as their estimating skills get better and they have the ability to help the customer see the difference between what they're offering versus what their competitors are offering, you have the ability to sell more on option 1 versus option 2 versus option 3. So how long does it take to get you to where you want to be? How long does it take for you to get to that improvement where you can start selling at a 70% on option one?
Statistically, because I'm sure the answer is different for everybody.
Of course, it's different for everybody. Yep,
So
of course it's
6
different.
months.
So let's just say, okay, the numbers are probably not going to mean a whole lot, but I like doing this exercise anyway. Let's just say Amy said that right now she's a 7. I don't know what that means exactly, but let's say that, you know, this is day 1 and she's a 7. Well, okay, this is old school Excel for anybody that's interested, right? This is old school Excel. So I just want to get 1% better each day. So what is 1% of 7? Well, if I take 7 and I multiply it by 0.01, that's 0.07. So tomorrow, if she just takes where she was today and adds that incremental improvement, by tomorrow, she can be 7.07. Is that going to feel like she's a lot better?
No.
You're probably not going to feel it, right? Okay. Well, what about day 3? Surely by day 3, you know, we're going to have another improvement, right? And surely by day 3, now she's at a 7.14. Surely she'll feel that difference, right? Well, good night. I mean, how long is this going to take? If I can get 1% better each day, what does that mean? Well, let's just see, what is it going to look like a month from now? We'll make this a 31-day month. Why not? So what's it going to look like a month from now? I'm sorry, you're only going to be at a 9.4. Do you feel a difference there?
Probably that's still really fast, I would think, to do something completely foreign.
I mean, so a month from now, you know, if today you're at a 7, a month from now you're at a 9.5. I mean, I don't know if that really feels like I made a lot of progress or not. So, all right, well, let's see what 2 months looks like. Surely by 2 months, we've started to make a difference. So let's just say we got a 30-day month coming. So maybe by 2 months, where are we going to be? You still haven't made yourself double where you are today. You're still not twice as good. So here's what sometimes happens. I'm not saying it happens all the time, but let me address the design associates on the call for a moment. See, through the reason I address the design associates, for the franchise owners on the call, if I'll pick on Nate, because Nate's been around for a while. If Nate decides, you know what, this business isn't for me anymore, we're just gonna get out. And he goes to the corporate office and says, hey, Tom Wood, I'd like to get out. What does that look like? Tom Wood's going to look at him and say, well, you signed a 10-year contract. You're on the hook for 10 years worth of royalty minimum. So if you'll write me a check for whatever that works out to be, it's over $300,000. You write me a check for a little over 300 grand. Yeah, you can walk away. Well, okay, now I'm looking at Eric because Eric is brand new, and I think I just shocked the crap out of Eric. Okay, so Eric looks at this and he says, wait a minute, I'm at 7 now, and 2 months from now, I'm going to be at a 12. So is Eric going to tuck his tail and walk away? No, 300 grand's a lot of money. He's got to figure it out. Okay, well, that's good. But for the design associates on the call, you don't necessarily have to write a check to walk away. You can just walk away. I want you to let that sink in for just a second, because 2 months in, it may not feel like it's getting any easier. It might not. It might. Maybe you improve more than 1% a day, but it might not. Well, let's see what happens when you're 3 months in. Let's say, you've got a little angst about staying with this, and you made a commitment to your franchise owner, and you're like, no, I really want to make this happen. Oh, well, wait a minute. Now we're starting to see some change. Okay, if I was at a 7 coming out, maybe a 17 is not so bad. What's it look like in 6 months? Let's go out to 6 months. What does your life look like 6 months from now? And yes, there's work, there's practice, there's all that stuff that we got to do, right? And it's not easy. But now, wait a minute, 6 months from now, if I feel like I'm at a 7 now, 6 months from now, 1% improvement a day, I could be at a 41. That's substantial improvement, right? Okay, you could say the math is a little goofy, what I'm doing, that's fine. I'll buy that. But if nothing else, I would say 6 months from now, you could be 5 or 6 times better than you are right now. Another way to put this is you're never going to be any worse at this than you are today. I don't know if that helps you or hurts you, okay? But you're never going to be any worse at this than you are right now. Let's see what your life looks like a year from now. Let's go out 365 days. With a simple commitment that says, I'm going to get better 1% each day. I'm not trying to get 10% better each day. I'm not trying to bite off more than I can chew each day. I just want to get 1% better each day. And if I started at a 7, that means that by the end of the year, I'm at a 261, whatever that means. Okay, so what does this take? It takes a commitment to get 1% better each day. That's it. It's not about trying to make big changes. It's about practicing things on a small basis. Once you get past initial training, I would say you will probably never again practice doing the company story. What you might practice is you might practice doing one slide of the company story, but you might practice, how am I going to personalize this one slide? How am I going to price condition on this one slide? You might just practice one thing. I remember when I first started, I was in a practice group, 5 or 6 franchisees around, well, not around me. I mean, they were all over the country, but 5 or 6 franchisees and we decided to get into a practice group. And the 5 or 6 of us, we'd call each other once a week, and we'd be on the phone for an hour and a half, and we would practice. But we didn't practice like, okay, you give me your company story and I'll give you feedback. No, it was small stuff. I remember one morning, we spent an hour and a half practicing the last 10 seconds of the inspection video. That's it. So regardless of what your inspection video was, whatever problems you saw, none of that matters. It's the last 10 seconds of the inspection video to really make it. So instead of just saying something bland like, oh, well, I recommend that you replace this carpet as quickly as possible. No, let's figure out some wording that will make that really impactful. And we practiced for an hour and a half, the last 10 seconds of the inspection video. What does that mean? I got 1% better that day. And the next day I practiced something else. Maybe it was the way I delivered the reference list. Maybe it was, how am I going to deliver a reference list to somebody that says, no, I don't really want to call anyone. Okay, because I firmly believe that it's really important for people to be able to talk to other people that have had work done by us, because we do things so much different than our competition that you can't just say, well, yeah, my neighbor had carpet put in, I know what it's going to look like. No, you don't, because the way they do things is very different than the way we do things. I'd like for you to be able to talk to other customers and let them let you understand the process that they went through. Right? It's not about me trying to sell. It's about giving the customer the opportunity to really understand what the process looks like. Okay, great. So what happens when you hand somebody a reference list and they're like, yeah, I'm too busy to call somebody? Then what are you going to do? We spent an hour and a half practicing that. I mean, it's not about practicing the big stuff over and over. It's about practicing the small stuff really, really deep, and understanding that if I practice the small stuff really, really deep, I'm going to affect change, and all I'm trying to do is make myself 1% better each day. I mean, it's like if you decide that you want to get in shape and you go to the gym today and you get on the scale tomorrow and you look and you're like, well, that didn't do anything. And then you get on this, you go to the gym again tomorrow and you get back on the scale the next day. Well, that didn't do anything. Well, a week goes by. I look in the mirror. There's still no change. Okay. It's not about, look, I could take a day off and go to the gym and spend 8 hours in the gym. I'll come back and look at the scale tomorrow. There's no change. Look in the mirror. There's no change. Why? It's not about, I'm going to do one big thing today and that's going to get there. I mean, as Americans, that's what we would love, right? Put the food in the microwave and 20 seconds later, you're ready to eat. 2 minutes feels like forever in the microwave, doesn't it? So we're really conditioned to be fast oriented and we're really conditioned to want things right now. And sales is a skill that has to be practiced in order to get better. Now, maybe you're not comfortable with role play. That's okay. Find something that you are comfortable with, or just get used to being uncomfortable. Either way, but find a way to be able to practice stuff so that you're not practicing on the customer, but you're actually practicing in the office. Then when you go to the customer, you're just there to, you're just there to do your thing. It's very easy at that point. All right. We're going to dive in next on our tablet. And before I start on the tablet, I'm going to go ahead and give you guys 15 minutes to grab some water or use the restroom or whatever. And then we're going to dive in. So my clock says 11:48. I'm going to start back promptly at 12:05. So you got about 15 minutes. And just like we've been doing, you can turn your cameras off now and turn them back on when you're ready to get started. But I'm going to start back pretty promptly at 12:05. And when we do, I'm going to go ahead and have my tablet up, and we're going to get started with some tablet exercises.
Laser.
Hey,
Maybe. Place it.
does he do this? Hey, Arlen, can you hear me?
Yes.
Hey, we'll be back in just a sec. We have our Mohawk vendor here. We're having an issue and she's gonna help us fix it. So we'll be back in a sec.
Okay. All right, so as we've done before, when you are back and ready to go, let's turn the cameras back on. I can see who's there and we can get this party started again. All right, I've got 12:05, so as promised, I'm gonna go ahead and kick this off. So I'm headed into the tablet, and I'm just gonna use the scenario that we played with yesterday, the 2 rooms with the hardwood and the 2 rooms with the carpet, just because I'm too lazy to redraw something right now. So what I'm gonna do is, let's open this up like this was a brand new appointment. I go up to the customer's house, the customer's address will show here, and I can drive up to the customer's house. I open the appointment, and you'll notice when the appointment opens up, if it was a real customer, you would have their customer name, address, any project notes that had been added into Salesforce, any customer notes that had been added into Salesforce are all going to show there. I hit the go button, and some of these transition questions that you've struggled with or whatever, they're right here. I mean, this is nice because it's literally right here on the tablet. Now, I'm not going to open the tablet and try to read these questions from the tablet. That seems a little, I don't know, that's like an actor reading their lines while they're on set. But I want to be able to simply, maybe I get to the appointment 15 minutes early. I get into the neighborhood and I find a shade tree to park under, maybe at this neighborhood pool or something, and I hang out there, and I can open this up and sort of remind myself and get my mind in the right mind frame. How long have you been thinking?
Quick question.
Yes.
When I went out on the appointment the other day on my own, I could not get address from the customer. It's just like going when I was able to reference into the project and on the tablet. So that was interesting that we were all like a little.
That is, because it should have been
just like, it wasn't there. And so we were wondering if that was a Salesforce issue or
potentially. Potentially, I'd be happy to look at the exact customer with you and see if I can figure out what happened, but.
Yeah, because I was even there with Jason and office manager Lori, and we all went, okay, that was different.
That's interesting. Yep. All right, so good. So we go through here. We've got the questions. That's great. How long have you been thinking about replacing your floor? So let's say it's been 6 months to a year. Well, what made you decide to do it today? Well, I'm doing some other projects right now. Well, you know what? Why don't we say I'm getting other estimates? I give the customer the reference list and I can mark down there, did the customer agree to make reference list calls or not? So this is obviously being tabulated statistics. It gives you the opportunity to see how you did and sort of do some self-assessment. I click on the next button. Good, it gives me the primary and secondary strategy to land this appointment. That's great. I can shoot my inspection video. I can't do it right now because Zoom and the tablet are weird. I can't be in InspireNet and shoot a video. But anyway, this is where I would do that. I would shoot my inspection video. And of course, I'd make my drawing. So I've got the drawing that we worked with yesterday, the 2 bedrooms, the living room, the hallway. Once I've done my drawing and I've put in the space information, then I can click the little $sign and get here. And you see, these are the 4 or 5 options that we came up with yesterday. So we've got a hardwood option, we've got hardwood and carpet, we've got all laminate, we've got laminate and carpet, and then we've got a second hardwood carpet option. Okay, so I came up with a bunch of different options. Now I come back into the house, I continue the presentation, and this gives me the opportunity to walk through my company story, do my company story with the customer. Just keep swiping until you can't swipe anymore. I know that X that's down in the bottom right-hand corner is tempting. Don't hit the X. Just keep going until you get to where you can't swipe anymore. Then you can hit the X. And it's going to take you back to this screen. So this is a great place to set your tablet down because, I mean, it doesn't hurt anything. The customer doesn't see anything here they can't see. So this is a good screen to just leave the tablet sitting at while you're presenting products. So now we're in step 6. We've picked a bunch of products. We've looked at some stuff. The customer has found something that they really, really, really love. And while I'm asking the pre-close question, this is where you'll notice up here at the top, you've got the icons at the top of the screen. I can just go back 1 icon, and that takes me here. And I can go into whichever one of these that I'm playing with. So maybe it's the hardwood carpet option, and I make whatever changes I'm going to make, and then I can push forward again and hit continue to presentation. I'm right back where I was again. So if I leave the tablet set on this screen, it's very easy to just go back, make my change, and then hit continue to presentation and move back forward again. It's an easy backwards forwards kind of thing.
Arlen,
Okay, yes.
quick question. Can you add a room after you've gotten all of the content put in? Can you go back after the options are built to add a room?
Absolutely. Let's do it. So I'm going to go back to the drawing screen, and we'll add a simple room here because it's not about the size or shape of the room. It's just about adding it.
See, that didn't come up for me.
All
when I
right. So
tried.
let's go to here.
Yep.
Okay. And I'm looking at colored boxes.
Yep.
I can't add a room on the colored boxes screen. I have to go back to the drawing screen.
Okay.
If I hit my back button, yeah, that's fine. That's fine. That's fine. That's fine. That's fine. Let me cancel this room. So you should be looking at the screen that there's no colored boxes. It's just your drawing.
Okay. I couldn't figure out the back button. Okay. Thank you.
Okay. All right. So now I'll redraw this room. So let's say this is 12 feet by 10 feet. Who knows?
Arlen, when you add that one, does it not mess up your other options?
It does not, because I haven't touched those other rooms. Okay, all I've done is added a room. I have not touched the other rooms. If I were to open up one of the other rooms and change a dimension on one of the other rooms, then it would. But I haven't messed with the other rooms. I've just added a room. So now I'm going to go forward one screen. Oh, sorry, space info. That's always important. I've got to go forward a screen now, and you'll see my 4 options, 5 options, they're still the same, but now I have a room that in none of the options do I have anything, right? So now if I want to add this to one of these options, let's just take the laminate option right here in the middle. Let's say that now for just this laminate option, I'm going to add this room, which no problem. I'm highlighted on the laminate option. I'm going to select the one room, set install info, And I'm just gonna go through it the exact same way. I could select all and make sure that I'm doing everything the same. Or let's get out of this for just a second. Or let's take this and let's do something weird. Let's put tile in this one bedroom. So I'm gonna have laminate everywhere and tile in this one room. Okay. So I can select that, set install info, and I'm gonna pick tile. You'll notice that for tile, there's not any PGs. So for tile, I'm gonna pick my, let's just do quarter round again. And for tile, I actually have to pick a product. Carrollton should still be active. Let's see if it is. Yep, it is. All right, so this is a 13 by 13 square tile. Carrollton is the name of it. Good job for that. And I can complete the option. And with that, now I have an option that is laminate and tile. So I'm gonna change this name to laminate and tile. So yes, you absolutely can add a room. And if you don't mess with the other rooms, it's not gonna mess with your proposal. All right, so let's move forward again. So the customer has said, yes, I absolutely love this product. I've done my little backwards switch, come back forward again. And now I'm going to show the customer the price. So I'm going to start with option 1, open the price and payment sheet. The total price for your project, $16,500, reference list discount. Here's my dollars, here's my payment options. Would you be in a position to pay with a check or take advantage of one of the payment options? And the customer says, yeah, I love it. Let's do it. Okay, great. So the next thing that I need to do is I want to make sure that I run through the proposal with the customer and make sure that we're all aligned on everything that we're going to do. So I'm going to hit the continue to proposal button that's at the bottom right. And I'm going to walk through every section of this proposal with the customer. Now, this first page is called the worksheet. There's a worksheet and the proposal sheet. The worksheet, there's a couple of things that you can change. The proposal sheet, the only thing you can do is sign it. So on the worksheet page, I've got, this is my location information, getting ready for install. And by the way, your sections might look different. They absolutely can be customized by your location. I would expect that everybody has location information. If you don't, that really does need to be fixed. You may or may not have a box that says getting ready for install. I kind of like that box because it sort of documents what I'm asking the customer to do. Who is Floor Coverings International? And then you've got 2 free style boxes, 2 free type boxes. There's a project information box and there's a proposal information box. If I type anything into the project information box, let's say I hit the plus button there. Anything that I type in the project information box, project info, goes to all options. So what I mean by that is, right now, which option am I looking at? I'm looking at this hardwood option. But if I were to click over to the, let's say the laminate and tile option and open that up and let's look at that worksheet, you're going to see that that same text that I wrote is going to copy to all of the different projects, or excuse me, all the different options. So I have this project for this customer. I've written 5 or 6 options at this point, and whatever I put in the project information is generic enough to fit any one of the options. So what is something that you might write in project information that's generic? It doesn't matter which option they pick.
That's something like make sure you don't let the dog out when you're installing, maybe.
Right. Okay. Make sure you don't let the dog out. Maybe there's a gate code. Maybe there's the customer doesn't want you to park on the left side of the driveway. Whatever it is, right? It really doesn't matter if they pick carpet, if they pick laminate, if they pick hardwood, it doesn't make any difference. This is the same no matter what they picked, right? Because that's going to get copied to all of the different options. On the other hand, the proposal option, the proposal information is strictly for this option only. So let's say for this option only, which one is this? Okay, this is our laminate and tile one. Okay, so maybe in this one I add a note that says I don't know, customer wants laminate to go left to right. I don't know, lefty to righty. So instead of going front to back in the house, they want it to go left to right in the house. I don't know. I'm making stuff up. So whatever it is, right? They picked laminate, and with the laminate, this is a special instruction around the laminate. What else might go in this proposal information box? What other instructions can you think of that might go in this box that are specific to a specific option?
Anything that you would have agreed to with the customer, or they agreed to do?
All right, give me an example.
I think you had previously said, they agreed to move the furniture.
Good, right? So if the customer said, we're going to move all the furniture, and maybe you've taken the furniture move out of your proposal, you need to document that. Keep in mind that this tablet, you are now signing a legal document with your customer. So whatever promises you made to the customer and whatever promises the customer made to you need to be documented somewhere, and this is the place to do it. Now, I don't need to repeat everything that's down here, but you'll notice, like in this proposal, I never went back and changed PG3 laminate. I left it that way, PG3 laminate. So I'm probably going to come up here and I'm going to write a very specific, this is laminate, whatever the name of it is, and the color of it, so that there's no debate later. Well, you got the wrong color. Well, I left PG3 laminate in there, but I really do need to detail exactly which laminate and exactly which color it is. So any promises that I've made to the customer, any little details, I want to make sure are listed there. Any promises that we made, any promises they made, everything gets listed there. So this is the way that I would use this worksheet. The customer has said yes. All right, great. Let's go through this and let's make sure that we understand everything that's included in this proposal. So here's my office information. This is where we're located. This is a list of things that I need to make sure that you're ready for installation. So I can walk through that with the customer. This is a little blurb about who we are. Project information. The customer said that you said you wanted the laminate to go from left to right. And this is the laminate name and color. And then I can walk through with them. So here's the line item detail. So the line item detail says this is a PG3 laminate. There's freight cost to bring it in. We're going to use the premium underlayment that we talked about and new quarter round. And we've got some transition strips in the doorways. This is a floating floor installation. We're going to move all your furniture for you, so you don't have to worry about that. We're going to remove and haul away all the carpet that's involved. And of course, we're going to install we're going to install quarter round to your existing baseboards and install transitions. And then in the bedroom, the tile bedroom, and you can walk through the line item details with them. Here's our warranty information. And then this is where you can say, this is the price that we agreed to, the $14,723. And in terms of a down payment, we normally take a 50% down payment. So we can plug that in right here. You can just come right in here and oh, what is that? 70, I don't know, $7,400, close enough. Right? And I can say this is, we've got a down payment of $7,400 and that'll give you a balance of 73, 23, 24 when we're done. Okay. Assuming they said that they were going to write a check or pay with a credit card. Done. Now, when I continue to proposal, I hit the button at the bottom that says continue to proposal. Now I can see this is exactly what the customer is going to see. This is their proposal sheet. So I've got my location information in the top right, my getting ready for install. You'll notice now my project info, proposal info, everything's there. There's the line item details, just like we promised. There's your total. There's the deposit amount that we talked about, what the balance is going to be, and there's 2 signature lines. When I sign here, this is me promising you that I'm going to do everything that we just talked about and make sure that you are happy with this job. And when you sign here, this is you promising me that we can do the job and make sure that we get paid for it at the end. Okay. And of course, I can email a proposal to the customer from right here. Whether you landed the job or didn't land the job, you can email the proposal directly from the tablet. You don't have to go back to Salesforce to email the proposal. Now, I do want to caution you about one thing when it comes to emailing from the tablet. Microsoft gets a little funny sometimes. Maybe you've already noticed this. Maybe you've had a Microsoft Outlook account before, but Microsoft will log you out of devices and not really tell you that you're logged out. So maybe you've had this experience. You've got your email account set up on your phone and all of a sudden you realize, wait a minute, I'm not getting any new emails on my phone. And the reason is because Microsoft logged you out on that phone. And you just go in and log back in and it's fine. The difficulty is on the tablet, you may or may not realize that you're not logged in. So we're going to email this to myself. And we're going to see if it actually goes, because to be honest, I don't know if I'm logged in or not. So if I hit the button send, you'll notice that the tablet gives me the option of sending multiple proposals. I could send all 5 of these. I'm not going to. I'm only going to send the one that we landed. So I've got the one that we landed checked, and I can hit next. And it generates it as a PDF. That's great. And I can hit this button that says send. And it wants to know how I want to send it. So I could send it through Drive. I could send it through Gmail. I could send it through OneDrive. I want to send it through Outlook. And this is why it's important to have the Outlook app on your tablet. And now it drops this in. Now it would be really nice if I got professional and I put my signature on the tablet so that I didn't have to write a bunch of stuff. But if nothing else, I just want to say thank you for allowing us, not alerting us, allowing us to help you with your flooring project. Whatever you want to write. That's good. All right, and then, my signature, whatever else, and then let's hit send. We're going to see if it actually goes anywhere. And I kind of hope it doesn't. And the reason I say I kind of hope it doesn't is because I want you to see what happens when that doesn't work. Yep, it's not coming through. Perfect. So why do you think it's not coming through? So I'm looking at my email. I sent it to myself. Why do you think this isn't coming through?
Microsoft logged you out?
Yep, I'm logged out on the tablet. Okay. Now, it looked a lot like it went somewhere, didn't it? And that's why I'm saying it'll fool you sometimes. So my recommendation is this. anytime you send something from the tablet, always copy yourself so that you can see if it actually went, and use this as an excuse to call the customer. So maybe a couple hours from now, you call the customer back and say, hey, I just wanted to make sure that you got the proposal. Sometimes it gets stuck in people's spam folders, or sometimes it doesn't even send from my tablet. I just want to make sure you got it. And then now you have the opportunity to ask them some questions or have them ask questions. So how do we fix this? Well, I'm just going to go into Outlook real quick. Find my Outlook. And no thanks. And I need to sign in. And of course, it's going to make me do the multi-factor and all that good stuff. Yep. Enter the fancy code. Oh, now I'm actually logged in. Okay, good. So now what happens? It queued it up for me. So now it has sent. So now if I open this up, now it has actually sent the proposal and I can open this. And I can see exactly what the customer sees. All right, good. So now this is what the customer has just gotten. They've gotten a copy of this, all the good things. I can see the warranty information. I can see that they paid a deposit. We can see signatures, and then there's one extra page that gets sent to the customer. This is required by law. It's terms and conditions, and it's essentially the buyer's right to cancel. So the buyer has a right to cancel within 3 business days. And this is legal. It's something that has to be put in. Every state requires you to give them of the buyer's right to cancel. And so they get this as the last page. And you can, at your leisure, you can read through this and see what it looks like, you know, if the customer cancels and all the rest of that stuff. So you can read that mumbo jumbo when you're ready to. All right. So I'm actually kind of glad that it didn't send so that we could see the resolution to that. That's good. Otherwise, I've now sent the proposal. When I send the proposal, I can click on the complete button. And I'm going to get this box that pops up that says, what made you decide to buy from me today? So think about it like this. I've done my proposal. I'm ready to walk out the door. Maybe I've even got my samples and my bag in my hand and I'm ready to walk out. And I simply look over my shoulder and say, so what made you decide to buy from me today? Now, I'm going to ask you guys before I give you the answer, what do you think? Why do you think this question is in there? There is a purpose behind it. Why do you think this question is waiting there for you?
To learn from it.
All right, expand on that, Blake.
To understand, you know, what went well, what was the crucial reason, you know, that they purchased for you. It could be, you know, 15 different things, right? And to know specifically what that customer went well for them and how you nailed it.
Yep, that's it. That's part of it. That's a big piece of it.
Why they didn't buy from someone else.
You will have yourself convinced that they bought for a particular reason. And then you ask this question and realize, wait a minute, it had nothing to do with that. Had absolutely nothing to do with that. I was on a ride along with someone, and this was a newer design associate, but this design associate had done, before they joined Floor Coverings International, they had done like film editing and film works and, you know, cinematography, and they were the whole inspection video was just, they were enthralled by it, right? And so they had bought black lights and they had bought all kinds of stuff to be able to put in their tool bag to really, really make the inspection video just unbelievably powerful. And so they go into this home. I'm with them, and we go into this home, and they're ready to shoot the inspection video, and they've got tools laid out. They've got everything laid out. Everything's, and not, I mean, he didn't just shoot it once. He shot it, and he's like, no, I don't really like it. We're going to shoot it again. No, I really don't like it. Spent 15 minutes shooting this inspection video, right? Really put a lot of time in this. And so when we come to the table with samples and everything to do the company story, shoots the inspection video, and I'm telling you, the time paid off because the homeowner is watching that, is really just enthralled with this inspection video, really engaged with it, starts asking a bunch of questions, and it was really good. And the guy did a really, really good company story. I got to give it to him. He really did a company story that was really well done. The customer was really engaged with it. Asked a bunch of questions and was really going through it well, found a product that they absolutely loved. They weren't crazy about the price, so we dropped to an option 2, found a different product that was a little bit cheaper that the customer fell in love with and said, you know what, I think I actually like this one better than the first one anyway, and ended up deciding to buy the second one, right? So we landed the job on the spot. So as we're walking out of the house, we turn to the customer and say, so what was it that made you decide to buy from us today? What do you think the customer's reaction was? What do you think they said?
I'm assuming it's not the inspection video.
Yeah, you saw right through that one. Yep. The customer looked at us and said, because you put booties on your feet when you walked in the door. That was it. That was it. He goes, I've been in home services my whole life. I've had people come into my house and do things, and I've never seen somebody put booties on their feet before walking in. When you did that, I knew you were somebody that respected my place, and I wanted to be able to do business with you. All the rest of it, I mean, it was important, but it didn't matter as much as the booties did. It was crazy. Okay. So we thought we nailed all sorts of good things and inspection videos and whatever. Nope, it was booties. So yes, this is a box that will help you learn what you did well, but this serves a secondary purpose. There's a psychological reason that this is in here too.
It gets the customer to self-assure.
Yeah, there you go, Tyler. Give me more on that.
Well, it gets them thinking critically. Sorry to cut you off. I'm driving.
Please.
It gets them thinking critically about the process and like, wow, they really did excel at this one thing. And I think I did make the right choice today.
Yeah, it's going to help. It's going to help eliminate buyer's remorse. It's going to help drop cancellations. You will have some cancellations, hopefully not many. But you know, occasionally somebody's going to cancel after you've sold the job. This helps them sell themselves. As you're walking out the door, they're reminding themselves of why they bought from you. You don't have to do it. They'll do it for you. All right. So maybe it was just booties. Good. And then I can mark this as a demo. And I'm ready to go. Let's say, though, that I didn't land this job. That tomorrow, which is now today, I want to go back and I want to make some changes to that appointment. Now I've already synced my tablet, all the data is up, everything's been synced back up to Salesforce. And I want to be able to bring this appointment back to my tablet and make changes to it. So as a general rule, you never, so now that I've marked this as a demo, now that I'm done with that training appointment, with that customer appointment, you never want to open that appointment back again. You never want to do anything to that again. Okay, but I want to make a couple of changes to it. How do I do that? Well, if it's a real customer, you'll be able to do this. You go up in the top left-hand corner with the three lines, and I'm gonna do something called, I'm gonna create an ongoing work appointment. So I'm gonna hit the search customer button, and I'm gonna search for a customer. So I've got all kinds of training customers out there. I'm gonna search for, oh, let's see, there's plenty of Arlen Brady training customers out here. Let's just search and find one. Oh, let's see. Here's the Arlen Brady, January 2023 TSA class. Let's get that one. So I'm going to pick that customer and that project, and I can hit my enter button. And now it's going to bring that back down to my tablet, and I can open that up and anything that I had done before, the data is going to be there. You'll notice on the left in that black box, it says ongoing appointment. To be honest, I don't even know what I did. No, there's no drawing in here. So that's not a great one to show. Let's pick a different one. Oops. So let's do this again. Let's search for the customer. And let's see, this one probably has something. So let's hit that. All right, so now we've got this one, ongoing appointment. Now let's open this one up. And sure enough, you can see the drawing that I did before is there. Any proposals that I had written before are there. Anything, all the data that I had written, and that was back from December, all the data that I had written is still there. Everything's good. I can even go in and I can see what was done at that time. Oops, wrong button. I can see what was done at that time. I can scoot over to the proposals and see what options were done. Everything's still in here from before. And I'm going to do that with an ongoing work appointment, and that's going to bring that information back down to the tablet. And then, of course, once I'm done, you never want to leave an appointment open. You always want to close it. So issued lead is fine. That's okay. That's a demo. That's okay. But if you ever see one of these like this one, I left this open on purpose. This is in an appointment started status. And if you leave appointments open in an appointment started status, it can mess up whether or not the tablet syncs. So all I need to do is just go in here and then go back out. And, you know, I can mark that as a demo, no problem. All right. Any questions on any of that? I'm going to show you one more thing in the tablet.
So you're saying that we don't go back into it from this screen here. We need to go over to the 3 bars to go in to find an appointment. If it's right here, we can't just click on it and go back in.
Right. Because what will happen, Nikki, is you have your information in the tablet, and when you sync your tablet, it takes and copies all that information to Salesforce. If you go into Salesforce and you make some changes, maybe you go into Salesforce and you tweak some numbers and whatever else, you've made changes in Salesforce. Now, if you go back into that original appointment and open it back up, when you close it again and it syncs, it's going to take the data from your tablet and copy back over the changes you made in Salesforce. So it's whoever touched it last is the one that wins. So the best practice is I open the appointment in the tablet, do what I need to do, sync it. I mean, I'm in the customer's home, close it, sync it. Now the data is in Salesforce. If I want to make adjustments in Salesforce, fine, I can do that. But then when I'm ready to do it on the tablet again, just create an ongoing work appointment in the tablet and bring it back down to the tablet. It's going to copy everything that I just did from Salesforce back down. And so I always have the most current data.
Do you have to make a new option, or can you edit the options that are in there? Because I think those still overwrite Salesforce, right?
You can edit the options, and if you edit the options, they will overwrite what's in Salesforce.
So if you want a new option, you need to make a whole new option.
That's right.
I've gotten myself in all kinds of a mess with this.
Yep. If you want a new option, make a new option.
Okay.
And it's easy enough just to copy one of the ones that's there and make changes.
What happens if you create an ongoing appointment and you make some changes and then you sync that back and you make changes in Salesforce and then you want to go back in again? Do you have to make a new ongoing appointment?
Yep, make a new ongoing appointment. That's going to sync it back down to the tablet again. You can do this cycle as many times as you want to. But if you make changes in Salesforce you want to create an ongoing work appointment. So all that new data comes back down to the tablet. And you can see, I mean, it takes 2 seconds to do it. Up, down, up, down, up, down. That sync is what's transferring data back and forth. And whoever touched it last is going to win. All right, one other thing that I'm going to show you here. You'll notice here now this training task that we've been playing with, it says first appointment, and right under there it has a little line that says debrief. And I'm going to hit that little debrief button. And this is a great way for you to do some self-assessment, right? So I can look at this and I can say, okay, the objection was captured. Now, if I delivered the transition questions, I can mark that. Okay, that's good. How many references? They got in touch with 3 references. That's good. Did I complete 3 price and payment options? Yes, I did. Did the customer agree to make reference list calls? Yes, they did. Did I present the inspection video to the customer? No, I didn't. Did I do the company story presentation? Well, the presentation I did was 19 seconds long. Well, there's a good chance that they didn't get much of a company story. You can even hit this little slider and it'll show you how much time you spent on each slide, which is kind of slick, right? You think, oh my gosh, my company stories, I'm taking forever to do them. And then you go back and look and it's like, no, I mean, you're taking 5 minutes to do them. It's not that long. Or you go back on the opposite side, you go back and say, I really feel like I'm rushing through the company story, and you look and you see, wait a minute, my company stories are 18 minutes long. And then you can not only see where the total time is, but how much time you're spending on each slide, which is really helpful for self-assessment. Did you deliver the pre-close question? Well, the only way for the tablet to know that is if you actually mark it here. So you would have to mark that here, no problem. Did you get a positive pre-close, negative pre-close? Again, some of these, you don't, the tablet doesn't know unless you tell it, so that's okay. Did you perform the walk of life? Which option did you land? Good. Did I present the payment, the full proposal and paperwork? Was it financed? And again, if I had marked what made you decide to buy from me today, it would be here too. So this is a really, really cool way, excuse me, of going back and figuring out what you did, what you didn't do. And it's just sort of embedded in there. There's nobody, look, Big Brother is not looking over your shoulder, at least not in the micro. So like nobody's going to call up, nobody's going to call Jonathan Friedman and say, Jonathan, I looked at your last appointment and I see you only did a 3-minute presentation. I will say that on a macro sense, there are statistics that are pulled from this. So you might hear on a company-wide call, X% of franchisees are doing company stories or not doing company stories or whatever else. So there's some macros, there's some macro data that's pulled from this. But to be just perfectly honest with you, from corporate to franchisees or to design associates, ain't nobody got time to pull this data. At the local level, you guys will be able to pull this data for your design associates.
Arlen, I apologize. Will you know how you got there again? Because I see the debrief, but if I click on that, it takes me to the appointment. It doesn't take me to the debrief.
Yeah, it's kind of funny because if I hit the training box, it takes me into the appointment. I'm hitting that little debrief. I'm hitting that little debrief button right there, and I got to be careful to only hit that button.
That's it. I must have hit more than just the button.
But this is information that the company can pull and we can pull, but only if it's completed. And so.
Right. Well, there's some of it that's automatically completed, right? So
Okay.
what you see here, like the objection that was captured, okay, that's the checkbox. Did you do it or not? But like the company story, that's automatic. It automatically records that time. So that's not something you have to do.
Okay.
But some of the other stuff, did you perform the walk of life? Well, the tablet doesn't know if you did or not. So you would actually have to come in here and say, yes, I did it. So honestly, right now, the only real you know, did you complete 3 price and payment options? Yes or no? The tablet knows that because it knows how many options you put together. And it knows what the length of the company story was and how much time you spent on each slide. A lot of these other ones, you have to tell it if you did it or not, which is good information if it's done, but it's not consistently done, which is another reason why people don't really pull a lot of these statistics right now. But it is there. All right, questions about anything we've done in the tablet so far today? All right, so I have not responded to every individual message that I've gotten today. Let's stop sharing this. But I know that there's several of you that have appointments or that have meetings or that have other things that are happening here in about 10 minutes. So this is what I'm going to do. We are going to wrap this up for right now. I know I said we were going to be on until 2. I'm giving you an hour back. For those of you meeting with ops coaches, great. You have an hour to get other stuff done before you meet with your ops coach. Design associates, fill this time productively. But I will see you back on this Zoom at 4 p.m. Eastern time. So you have 3 hours, 3 hours and 10 minutes from now until 4 o'clock to go run your evaluations with your ops coaches or your franchise owners, run a customer appointment, whatever you've got to do. I know several of you sent me notes saying that you had meetings with different people or things that you had to drop off early for. So that's fine. Go ahead and take care of all that stuff. And I will see you guys back here at 4 p.m. Eastern. And I promise to keep that session less than an hour. I promise.
What will we be doing at that session?
We're going to wrap everything up.
Okay.
Okay, we'll wrap everything up.
I have a quick question.
Yes, sir.
Not necessarily for the whole group, but the interest rate that comes preset in the tablet.
Mm-hmm.
I know that if we fast forward past that to the proposal, we can put it in there, but where can we change what the standard rate is?
You can't change the standard rate. You can change the rate on that proposal, but you can't change the standard rate. The standard rate is set at 12.99.
Oh, okay.
So I'm curious, what would you want it set at?
I'm just looking if we have that tiered financing option, because if they say that the first tier is 11%, so that
Good.
we just have to go in and keep changing it every time.
Well, what's even better is you land the job with 12.99, and then when you come back and say, "Hey, good news, I actually got you approved at an 11% rate."
Okay. Okay.
I mean,
so
you
we
can
just give
change
them.
it. You can change it. Let me come back here.
You
I'll
can
show
change
you.
it one off and like at the end of the proposal, right? Like,
Yeah, you can change it. Let's go in here. So I'll just keep playing with the one that we've been playing with. I'll have to use a different option. No problem with that. So right here, when you're on this, when you're on your price and payment sheet, you see there's a little box that says IR.
Yes.
Okay. It's hidden right there in plain sight. If I change this number to 9.99, then it's going to change the calculation. It'll change the interest rate for this option.
Okay. So we just take what's in there and then we can just change it right then and there. No.
Yep. And then if I look at the proposal at this point, you'll see that now this proposal shows a 9.99 interest rate. Or I can put it in here, but if I'm on the prior screen, and I want to show the customer what impact it has, so it's 12.99. And let's say your 48-month payment is $439.13. If I change it to 9.99, okay, $415.15.
Gotcha. So we can kind of we could kind of go through interest rate options if we wanted to with the customer pending, but okay.
Yeah, you can.
Gotcha.
But I honestly, I like leaving it at 12.99. I wish it was higher, honestly. Because I'd love to be able to tell a customer, oh, that's it. That's at 17.99. That'll work for you, won't it? And let the customer say, what? You got to be crazy. Why? So that I can turn around and say, well, if I could get that down to, let's say, an 11% rate, could we get your job started? It gives me an opportunity to offer them something in exchange for getting their job started, right? And what do I know? I know that 11% isn't going to cost me anything, or barely anything.
So if we go through this, we continue the proposal, we signed it, they agreed on it. If we haven't changed anything in Salesforce, the next day they wanted to add something, we could go back into the same one since we didn't do anything in Salesforce.
Well, no, so once it's landed, it gets a little complicated. Once it's landed, if you wanted to go back and add another room after it's landed, what I would probably, there's two ways to do it. You could go to IT and have them unland it. So you won't be able to unland a job, but IT can. So you could have IT go in and unland it, and then you could land a new option. Or you could say, okay, we're going to add on a bedroom, go in and write a proposal for just the bedroom. And then you've got two projects, right? And you're doing them both simultaneously. You would end up landing two options. So you do it either way.
Even with an ongoing appointment, we go in there and make changes. It's going to be a separate, it's not going to change any of the initial proposal.
You can't change it after the customer has signed it. That's a foul.
Right. Yeah, exactly. That's what I was trying to understand, if they do change it. So we either need to add an additional project to it or go to IT to have them backtrack and unland.
Right. Unland it and then do what you need to do and land it again. And honestly, that's going to depend on where you are. If it's the next day and you haven't done anything yet, then I would unland it and start from scratch. But if you're, I've already ordered materials, I've got stuff going, I've already put this into QuickBooks. I mean, and now here we are and we're going to add another room. Yeah, you know what? I'm putting that other room as a separate option and we're going to land a separate option for that room.
So you would just land a separate option, not a whole new project in
Yeah,
Salesforce?
I just land a separate option.
Okay.
So you can land multiple options on the same project.
Kind of confused on that one, Collins. How do you land it if the customer signed it already?
All right, you open up that option and have them sign that option. All right, guys, go do what you need to do, and I will see you 4 o'clock Eastern in about 3 hours.
Hey, Arlen, you said that some of us would be meeting with our ops coaches. I don't have an invite from our ops coach.
You should be with the same person that you were with yesterday.
Yeah, but there's no invite.
Who was it?
Jackie.
Yeah, just shoot Jackie a note and say, where's my invite for today?
Okay.
Because she knows.
All righty. Thank you.
Yep.